Hi, everybody.
Welcome, everybody.
Welcome.
Happy Teacher Appreciation Week. We are so grateful for you and the incredible work you are doing, and are just so excited to spend the next hour together, breathing with you, moving with you, sharing gratitude with you, because everything that you are doing is so, so important to our communities, to our students, and to our world. So this webinar is absolutely for you, and hopefully will be a gift that keeps on giving. So for those of you who I haven't met yet, my name is Dr. Ilana Nankin. I'm the founder and CEO of Breathe for Change, which, if you're new to us, is an organization on a mission to enhance the health and well-being of educators, students, and entire communities. And we run the world's only 200-hour wellness, SEL, and yoga teacher training that's specifically for educators and community leaders like yourself who truly care about using wellness as a vehicle for healing and social change. And so I'm a former teacher from San Francisco. And when I was teaching the little ones first. I was stressed and overwhelmed and overworked. And that's when I first found yoga and these mindfulness practices that we'll be teaching you today. And it just completely transformed my life and my well-being. And I ended up integrating so many of the practices into my classroom with my kids, and just saw extraordinary transformations in them, both social, emotionally, but also academically. And I was like, there is something here that needs to be further explored. So I ended up pursuing my PhD in curriculum and instruction and becoming a teacher educator at the University of Wisconsin in Madison. So shout out to all of you Midwestern folks out there. So during my dissertation, I followed a bunch of teachers into diverse classrooms all over the country and world, specifically to look at how they were taking up their ideals of social justice in action in their teaching. And what I ended up finding was that across the board, these teachers were so stressed, so overwhelmed, so burnt out, which I know is a bigger problem than it ever has been right now in our current times, which is hopefully why you're here, to get some tools to support you. And I was seeing how universal that issue of teacher and educator stress and burnout truly is. And also at the same time, I had just gotten my yoga teacher certification, gotten trained in meditation and mindfulness and mindful movement. And the educators I was teaching at the time found out I was a yoga teacher, thought it was the coolest thing ever, and ended up renting out space for me to teach them yoga and these meditative practices in addition to my education courses. And one thing led to the next. Day after day, different educators would come up to me and be like, oh my gosh, Ilana, the kids who normally have anxiety attacks before tests are utilizing these breathing techniques that you taught us, and their test scores are increasing. Or, students who experience so much trauma in the home are learning how to breathe, and everything's improving. So one thing led to the next. I was like, nothing's going to stop me. We're starting a movement on a mission to enhance the health and well-being of our wonderful educators, all of you, and also our students and entire communities. And that's what, in 2015, I started the world's only 200-hour wellness, SEL, and yoga teacher training that now over 6,000 educators across the United States and world have taken our training. We started, 34 teachers that first year in Madison, and then we expanded to the Bay Area and New York City, and Sesame Street hosted us that second year in New York. And when Elmo and Big Bird came, I was like, we're on to something. And then we certified 185 teachers the second year across 3 cities, and then 600 across 6 cities, and then 1,100 across 11 cities. And then when COVID hit, then we had to do what many of you had to do and just figure out, like, what do we do? How can we best support our teachers and our students and communities right now? So we took our trainings online. And so today, or last year, we graduated 2,500 educators. This year we'll be graduating over 5,000. And today we really hope to just give you a taste of what Breathe for Change is all about, and hopefully leave you with some amazing mindfulness practices and social emotional learning, mind body wellness tools that you can integrate not only into your life, but also embody as you share these practices in your classrooms and your communities. So super excited to be here with all of you, to just appreciate you for the amazing work that you're doing. And I won't be able to say that enough, because you need to hear it over and over again, how much you matter and how much of an impact that you're making. I know it's so hard right now, and there's no more important work than the work that you're doing. So I hope that you know that. And hopefully through this experience, you'll feel a little more nourished and restored. So without further ado, I would also love to introduce my partner in crime, one of the best yoga trainers and experts and social justice warriors that I know in my life. And Michelle, I would love you to introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Ilana. It's just my absolute pleasure to be here with you, celebrating all of you and appreciating all of you. I want to reiterate what Ilana said earlier about how important the work you do in the world is. And my name is Michelle. I'm currently on Ohlone land in what has been colonized as Oakland, California. My pronouns are she, her, and I am a career yoga instructor. I tried to do other things, but nothing else was really my dharmic path, which is how I look at life, as what am I here to do and accomplish? And through these tools, I have become a better human. And so I seek to offer these tools to other people to become better humans as well. And in the course of my, over 2 decades career of instruction, I have created teacher trainings. I have led them. I've done this internationally as well as domestically. I've led workshops and, of course, private sessions and regular weekly sessions in all different settings, from corporations to schools to staff appreciation days to yoga studios, as well as yoga retreat centers. So I have a, very diverse skill set. And I also come to this from a trauma-informed lens and also with an eye to social justice. I've done a lot of training with some of my teachers, Michelle Cassandra Johnson, Anjali Rao. These are leaders, BIPOC and South Asian leaders in the yoga space, as well as, my own interest in being trauma informed. I worked with the trauma center. This is out of the East Coast, looking at the importance of healing trauma through physical embodiment, specifically yoga. So that's just a little bit about me and my values, as well as my background. So hopefully that's interesting. And I'm super excited to work with you today and to play with you today.
So to begin that playing, first of all, the invitation is that this is a really experiential workshop, and that you just try on these practices with us, because if you experience them for yourself, that you're going to be way more likely to integrate them into your daily life so that you can sustain your well-being over time, which is ultimately the goal, right? So I invite you to settle in with me, finding a comfortable position. You can be seated on a chair, on the floor, wherever you are. And then maybe do some shoulder rolls. As educators, we carry so much of the weight of the world on our shoulders. So just allow yourself to release any of that tension that you may be carrying. And then eventually relax your shoulders down your back. Bring length to your spine. And allow your eyes to soften or to close, whatever's more comfortable in your body, and connect to your breath. Observing the rise and the fall of each inhale and each exhale. And as you continue to breathe, I invite you to bring one hand to your heart and the other over that hand. Perhaps you draw your awareness right there to your heart beating beneath your palm, feeling your breath moving in and out, up and down. And as we continue to connect to our breath, I invite you to just take a moment here and to send yourself some gratitude and some appreciation. You do it so much for your students, for your colleagues, for the families you're connected to, probably for your own families, your own loved ones, the larger community. And I want you to take that gift of gratitude and turn it inward, appreciating yourself for all that you do, and more importantly, all that you are. How you've continued to show up day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, staying committed to a bigger purpose here, even when it's hard. It takes so much courage and so much resilience. So give yourself the gift of acknowledging you. I know for me, it's so easy and natural to appreciate others. It's definitely not quite as easy to do the same thing for myself. So just continuing here to send yourself gratitude for the little things, for the big things, for all of it. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Again, inhale. Exhale. Breathe in. Out with a huge sigh. And just taking a moment, notice how you feel. And at Breathe for Change, one of our favorite SEL strategies that we use in our 200-hour training is called the 2-word check-in. So I invite you to find 2 words that describe how you are feeling right now, just 2 words. And then once you have your 2 words, if your eyes are closed, you can gently open them. I'd love you to put your 2 words into the chat so we can see what is in the room, how you are feeling today, and know that anything is welcome. All emotions are welcome and accepted in this space. Grateful and anxious, peaceful, coolness, accomplished, energized, calmer now, wonderful, tired and grateful, relaxed, hopeful, calm, hungry and done, relaxed, calm, exhausted and depleted, relaxed, calm, fragile, and hardy. See, we got everything in the space, right? And probably how you're feeling now will be different from how you're feeling in 30 minutes from now and at any given moment for the rest of your life. And so this 2-word check-in can be such a powerful mindfulness practice, right? I use this all the time when I'm teaching my students, when I wake up and check in with myself, just to be like, hey, let me take a moment of pause, cultivate that mindful awareness of how I am feeling, and create that space for others to also check in with how they're feeling. And then 2 words can say so much, right? And as teachers, it can be a really powerful tool to integrate into your teaching, like at the beginning of the day when your students come in for a morning circle, at a staff meeting to check in with how all of your colleagues are doing before you dive into the content. So taking these moments of mindfulness is really what this work is all about, because it helps us tap into our well-being. It helps us recognize when we are burnt out, when we are stressed out, when we actually need a moment of pause to respond ultimately differently than the way we might have reacted had we not taken this moment of mindfulness. So super excited to dive in more deeply with all of you. Thank you so much for settling in. So again, welcome everybody. Thank you again so much for taking your precious time to come join us for this webinar on mindfulness to reduce teacher burnout. So hopefully you'll gain a few tools to reduce your burnout. That's the goal. So Michelle, you want to share the first outcome?
Sure. Our first outcome is that you enhance your own physical, mental, and social emotional well-being to reduce burnout through mindfulness practices. And why do we do this? Because you matter.
Mm-hmm. And then secondly, we also intend for you to be able to embody and facilitate foundational mindfulness and social emotional learning practices that will support your students' well-being and mental health. So you'll notice the first outcome starts with you, because at Breathe for Change, we tag the F on to SEL, spells self. We believe it's so critically important for us as educators and leaders, and some of us parents, to embody the mindfulness and SEL practices that we hope to bring to our students. And then finally, Michelle,
you get to join the movement of passionate educators and leaders who are committed to using wellness as a vehicle for healing and social change.
Love it. So again, this is an opportunity for you to take that precious time to care for you. So yes, you'll gain some tools that you can walk away and bring into your life, into your community, but really we want you to be at the center of today. And as I mentioned, we tag on the F to SEL from our approach to social emotional learning, because we believe that when we as educators take care of our mental well-being, take care of our physical well-being, and take care of our own social emotional well-being, then our ability to enhance well-being in our relationships, whether it's with our students, our colleagues, our families, as well as enhance well-being community-wide at the school level, like creating a culture of wellness in our schools. Like all of it starts with us embodying these practices and taking care of ourselves. So for those of you who are already aware, CASEL, which is the umbrella organization that offers the social emotional learning competencies that are nationally recognized, they have 5 SEL competencies, all of which we will be embodying today through the practices that we will be doing together. So self-awareness is our foundation. So when we are able to cultivate that mindful awareness, right? This is what mindfulness is all about. So when we're able to cultivate that mindful awareness of our present moment experience, whether that's mindfulness of our breath, mindfulness of our body, the sensations that are showing up in our body, mindfulness of our emotions, like we just did with our 2-word check-in, or our thoughts, we actually enhance our ability to manage and regulate our bodies, to build trusting relationships and embrace diverse perspectives, and also to make responsible decisions. So at Breathe for Change, we start here with our awareness. So my dissertation revealed the critical connection between educator well-being and student well-being and learning. And as Marissa, one of my teachers, stated, if I am stressed, my students are stressed. Or as Krista put it, when I am calm and collected, my students are calm and collected. Sound familiar? Give me a thumbs up, a yes in the chat if that resonates with you. So let's talk about the critical connection between self-awareness and self-management, which are those first 2 SEL competencies. So our own and our students' ability to self-manage is deeply dependent on our ability to cultivate a mindful awareness of our emotions, or in other words, to become aware of how we are feeling. So once we are aware of our emotions or how we may be experiencing any given moment, we gain the power to choose our response. So Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl couldn't have put it more clearly. He said, between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom. So it's in that moment of self-awareness, of that mindful awareness, when we realize, oh, wow, like I'm just feeling so sad or so burnt out right now. Or maybe I'm just so furious and pissed off right now. It's in that moment of pause that we are gifted the opportunity to make a mindful choice in how we ultimately respond. So we get to choose, do I want to maintain the way I'm feeling? Or do I want to amplify the way I'm feeling? Maybe I'm feeling calm and steady and consistent or relaxed. And I want more of that, right? We get that choice. So we can ramp it up. Or do I want to change the way I'm feeling and shift and evolve how I'm experiencing my current reality? So, if you are feeling triggered, or if you're burnt out or stressed, we can draw on these powerful tools that we'll be walking you through to shift our experience. And so the practices that Michelle and I are going to be guiding you through can be used both responsively and proactively. What I mean by responsively is if you're feeling that burnout, you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling stressed, you're frustrated, and in that moment of heightened stress, you can draw on any of these practices and use them to bring you back to center, right? To reduce your stress, to reduce your burnout, to reduce whatever is present for you that isn't serving you in this current moment. Now, the proactive approach is just as important. And all the practices that we are going to be teaching you, you can use in both ways, responsibly and proactively. Proactively is when you're actually setting yourself up to integrate these practices into your life in a consistent manner and into your routine. Let's say you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is start with 3 collective breaths, or maybe you're doing a mindfulness, a body scan for yourself, or a loving kindness meditation. You do that every single day, which is ultimately going to decrease your reactivity and burnout over time and can help you enhance your well-being for the day, for the moment, whenever it is that you're integrating this. In the context of the classroom, this might look like you starting every class with a breathing practice or a mindfulness practice. It might look like, integrating these consistently into your transitions, right? Where we're proactively teaching or using these tools to foster well-being. So we don't always have to come from a place of burnout and just like, oh my gosh, so stressed. Like, how can we proactively draw on these tools to shift that reality for us? So y'all ready to dive in? All right. So the first set of practices that we are going to be teaching you and practicing alongside you are practices that connect us to our breath. Mindfulness practices that allow us to become mindful of our breath. And these can be so simple yet profoundly healing. So we'll start with 3 collective breaths. So Michelle, would you like to guide us through this amazing practice?
Of course. All right, everyone. So you were invited to sit up tall or to stand, do what feels great to you right now. And then just come into stillness and become aware of your breath. You can bring your hands to your heart, or maybe a hand on your heart, a hand on your belly, or not. And take a deep inhale, feeling the breath in. Exhale it out. Inhale again. Exhale it out. Our last collective breath, inhale. And exhale. And take a moment and feel. How do you feel right now? How does it feel here in the space together? And you can let us know in the chat how you're feeling. You could also put up an emoji if you wanted to get creative and do it that way. Safe, nice. Thanks, Jessica. Less agitated, Lupe, thank you. Little smiley face, thank you, Riley. Sleepy. Yeah, so just like feeling that, cool sunglasses on vibe. I love it. Peaceful, calm,
Yeah.
open, smiley face. Yeah. That didn't take very long, right? 3 collective breaths. You can do it any way that you like. And it has tremendous power to shift the energy, to bring people together because we have a collective experience then. So it can really set the tone. So when would that be a great thing to use? Can you think of like a time in your school day, in a transition or the beginning of class? When do you think you could use that particular practice, 3 collective breaths? I'm curious. Beginning of each period to start the day. Yeah, Tammy, totally. Fantastic. I try it every recess and lunch after recess. Wow, yeah, absolutely. Bringing folks together before an assessment. So good. Yes, every transition, during morning meeting, 10-minute in the beginning of class. And I also do it before tests. Awesome, Jen. That's so great. After lunch, line up for next class. I love this. So good. Yeah, so many great resources there. As a community, we come up with more things that have worked, and then you can take some of those and try them out and see if they work for you.
So awesome. I love all of the ideas in the chat. It makes me so happy to see all of you practicing this in action, or at least being inspired to integrate it. So just out of curiosity, I would love for you to put into the chat, like, who do you teach? Like 4th graders, high school students, adults, or, preschool students? I see a little bit of everything from preschool to high school, lots of elementary, high school, some middle school PE. Awesome. All right, so we got a little bit of everything. So what I would love for all of you to do is to just grab a hold of your inner child hat, and I want you to put it on. I want you to take on your pre-K or elementary school student self, okay? So bring on that playful side of you. And I'm going to teach you how I might teach belly breathing in my context as like someone who works with younger children. And then we'll show you how to do this with older students as well as yourselves. So I invite you all to bring out your bear paws. Let me see them. And then once you get your bear paws ready, come on off mute for a moment. Just come on off mute. All right, now let me hear your big bear growls. Now bring your bear paws to your big bear belly. Inhale, fill your big bear bellies with breath. Exhale, let it go. Again, inhale, filling your big bear belly with breath. Exhale, release. Biggest bear belly breath of the day. Out with a huge sigh. Now bring your bear paws to your beautiful bear heart. And just take a moment and just notice how you feel after your bear belly breaths. And then I invite you to come off mute or share in the chat. How do you feel? You could say it in one word. Just how do you feel after your bear belly breaths? Centered, playful. Love it. Playful, invigorated, attentive, like I took a nap. Beautiful. Happy, hungry, more connected. I love wearing, for those of you who are actual teachers of young children, I got my bear hat put on. I'd say breathing bear is here to breathe with you. So if you want to get extra creative, you could always do that. Now that may not necessarily work with middle schoolers and high schoolers in the same way, although I will say that bear belly breathing, no matter how old students are or who is in the room, and it always works in terms of making people smile. Even all of us as educators at a staff meeting, sometimes we just need to play a little bit. So I would love you, Michelle, to guide everyone through belly breathing, how you might do it for educators or older students.
All right, everyone, just as you are, sit up a little bit taller or stay standing if that feels good to you. And become aware of your breath, just allowing your breath to come into your awareness. You might be breathing in and out through your nose during this, or breathe in a way that suits you. If you want to inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth, that's up to you. Feel how your breath is right now. And then deliberately breathe down low to the area around your abdomen, even as low as your hips and your pelvis. Just breathing down, bringing your breath down. You might notice if you're holding tension in your belly, can you relax there and allow more breath to come in? Get curious about it. And as you're breathing down low into your belly, into your abdomen, notice how you feel. Great. So I'm curious, what were the things that you noticed from breathing down to your belly, to your abdomen? I like to change the words that I'm using because belly can be triggering for some adults. So just tracking the language that we're using and the ways that I'm teaching. So I'm always trying to change it a little bit, especially with adults. Feel different parts of your body more grounded, more present. Definitely, I do too.
Thank you, Michelle. And then our last breathing practice that is literally the essence of mindfulness is simply being aware of our breath. It's called mindfulness of the breath. How this works is it's pretty simple. You literally just check in with yourself and observe your breath exactly as it is without trying to shift or change your breath, simply just being mindfully aware of it. And you can think about having your breath almost serve as your anchor. Like if your attention wanders outside of your breath, which it will, because we're human, then you just come back to the breath, right? Observing each inhale and each exhale. And so I invite you all to find a comfortable position. Whatever you feel like being in, seated, standing, lying horizontal, if that's what you need right now. And then just begin to draw your attention to your breath, the natural flow of your breath. You can soften your gaze, you can close your eyes, keep them wide open, whatever is best for you here. But just observing each inhale and each exhale. Without trying to shift or change anything about your breath, simply just observing and accepting your breath exactly as it is. If your mind wanders, no worries. Just return right back to the breath. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Again, inhale. Exhale. Breathe in. Out with a huge sigh. Now let's just take that moment of pause. I invite you to bring your hands to your heart or to your lap and just notice how you feel after this mindfulness of our breath practice. What's showing up for you? If you'd like, you can share it into the chat, and you'll notice after every single practice that Michelle and I have facilitated for you thus far, we've taken that moment of pause at the end to say, just take a moment, check in, notice how you feel, right? That is just as important as the practice itself, right? Because in that moment of awareness of how we feel, we're cultivating our self-awareness skills, which is that first castle competency. Wow, I'm noticing that I'm feeling calm, or I'm noticing I'm feeling centered, or to speak to all of you, still, I'm self-acceptance, more relaxed, very tired. In that moment of noticing, we're building self-awareness skills, and we're also cultivating our self-management skills, so that later on, when we're stressed, when we're overwhelmed, when we're burnt out, when we're pissed off, we're like, oh, okay, I realize I'm feeling this way. Let me come back to that mindfulness of the breath practice, or let me respond by doing the 3 collective breaths. And when you actually take that moment to say, how do you feel after each practice, or to check in with yourself and notice, that's what's building that long-term positive outcome of where we can actually regulate ourselves later on, because we know how we felt, and we know that we can draw on the practices to bring us back to a place of center or calm or playfulness, or whatever each practice brings for us. So does that make sense? Always take that moment after the practice for that personal reflection, just as important as the practice itself. And especially true when we're teaching our young people these practices, because that's ultimately what's going to help them draw on these practices when you're not in the room with them, which is ultimately, that's the win that we want, is that they know how to use these practices when they need them in any given moment. So those are our mindfulness practices that connect us to the breath. Now we also have amazing tools and practices that can connect us to our body. So this looks like mindful movement, connecting our breath to our movement. It looks like the breath of joy, which is one of our favorite practices, a tense and release. It could be a body scan where you're observing the sensations that are showing up in different parts of your body, being aware and mindful of what's happening inside you. So Michelle, will you lead us through some mindful movement?
Of course. All right. So you can stay just as you are in your chair or standing. Let's take a deep inhale and reach your arms out to the side. Inhale, reach up, look up, and then bring the palms together, and exhale, bring your hands right down to your heart. And one more time, inhale, reach up, look up. And exhale, hands right down through heart center. This time we'll move into a seated side bend. Inhale, reach up, look up. And as you exhale, keep your right arm up and let your left hand come down to the seat or the chair beside you, and lean to the side, feeling this arc and this stretch, and let your neck be relaxed. So you might look down, never any strain. You might even be closing your eyes. Take a breath into where you're feeling the stretch. And come on up, and let's just lean right over to the other side. Let that right arm come out, the left arm go up, and inhale here. Feel this stretch, enjoy it, letting your head be heavy, your neck relaxed. Feel that deep breath in and out. And reaching up, coming back to center. Easy seated twist. Put your right hand on your left knee. Your left arm can come behind you on the chair back, or just behind you, wherever. works. Relax your shoulders down and sit up tall. And then as you exhale, twist and feel that, oh gosh, your spine getting wrung out a little bit. Maybe you're having some snap, crackle, pop in your spine. Come back to center. Inhale. And exhale, twist the other way. So left hand to the right knee and the right arm behind you. And you can use your arms to help you twist. And maybe you look over your right shoulder. And come on back to center. All right. So a little bit of mindful movement, moving with the breath, feeling what you're doing moment to moment. That's what that looks like. It can be much shorter than what I did. You could pick one of those things. And how does that feel? Do you feel different in your body? Did it maybe wake you up or make you more relaxed? I'm seeing some nodding heads. You can put up an emoji if you like. Always good. Settled in. Nice. More aware. Cool. Thanks, Elena.
And you absolutely do not need to be a certified yoga teacher to start this practice in your daily life. Like literally what Michelle just did was connected her movement with the breath, right? You could do anything. Inhale, reach up, exhale, hands to your heart, inhale, reach your arms out wide, exhale, give yourself a hug. So for just a moment, I want you to just try this in your own body, right? Just move your breath in whatever way, shape, or move your body with your breath. So like every time you inhale and exhale, and just feel what opens up for you. Knowing that you have access to this practice in any given moment, right? And, we sit for so long, we may be stiff or have tension in our body, and we carry stress in our body. And so sometimes just taking these few moments to move and stretch yourself out and just connect your breath with the movement can be really, really healing. So I just wanted you all to try that for yourself so you can recognize for a moment that you have everything that you need in any single second of the day to integrate this into your life, and also to bring it to your students and to teach your students that they too have the tools to access this practice. So that is an example of some mindful movement. Now I know that some of us, this is a mindfulness workshop to reduce teacher burnout. So I know that some of you are feeling the stress, feeling the burnout. So one of my favorite practices to do when I'm feeling super stressed, or like literally like the tension is not even just emotionally, it's like physically being stored in my body. It's called tense and release. So what this invites us to do is to tense up our entire body, which we'll do in a moment together, if you'd like. And then you slowly release it. And I want you to experience it for yourself. I don't want to tell you what you'll experience because each of you are going to experience your own unique journey with this. So I invite you to play with me by just for a moment tensing everything. So squeeze your wrists, your face, your belly, your legs, your toes, tense everything. And then whenever you're ready, slowly, and I mean slowly, mindfully release. It's like slowly just opening yourself back up. Just drawing your awareness to the sensations that are arising in your body. Noticing any shifts that may have happened for you in just those few moments of tensing up, exacerbating what's going on for just a little bit, and then just letting it go, right? I would love to just hear from a couple of you. Maybe you put it into the chat, or you come off mute and say in just one word or two words what that experience was like for you. What opened up? And when might be a good time that you can draw on this practice in your life or in your teaching? Oh, release. Oh, I'm so glad, Sue. I love it. I feel all tingly. Like my experience of it is just tingles. I'm like, whoa, a huge release. My kids love this one. Oh, awesome. I'm so glad you're doing it with your students, Catherine. Or your kids at home. I'm not sure. Both. Body awareness. Love it. Amazing. So that is one that you can absolutely draw on in any moment of stress. So the breath of joy is one of my favorites. I invite you to stand up on your 2 feet if you can. If not, you can stay seated. This one is called the breath of joy for a reason. Hopefully you'll experience it for yourself. And if you'd like, I invite you to come off mute for this one, because how it works is we're going to inhale, reach our arms up with 3 short inhales like this. And on the exhale, like literally do the biggest audible exhale, like as you fold forward. Okay, ready? On your marks, get set, go. Yes, again. Nice, again. And now bring your hands to your heart, stand up, or sit down, whatever feels best for you. And just notice, how do you feel after your breaths of joy, and shout it out into the space. How do you feel?
Happy,
Yay.
lighter, joyful.
My neck cracked.
Yay, your neck cracked. Awesome. So we've got physical benefits, we've got emotional benefits, we've got a mental benefits. So energized. It scared your dog. I love it. So fun, right? So the breath of joy can be another way that you can draw on mindfulness practices to bring about a different outcome, right? A lot of the practices that we've been doing together today are more centering, more relaxing, more calming, more grounding. And some of the practices that we offer at Breathe for Change that you can use to, switch things up a little bit are actually more energizing, more playful, more inspiring, more joyful. And that also has just as a big of an effect on our well-being as does some of these other practices. So you can draw on these different mindfulness strategies in different contexts, depending on what you need in the moment. So we already talked about how do we connect to our emotions through the 2-word check-in. So the 2-word check-in is the practice that we've done with you a few times, where you connect to your breath, you notice how you feel, and you choose 2 words that describe how you feel. This is something that you can do on your own, something so powerful to integrate as a daily practice in your classrooms or in your communities. Weather report is a similar strategy, but just using a different channel to access your feelings. So you do an internal weather report. So take a moment, connect to yourself, and choose your weather report. So it might be sunny today, it might be a thunderstorm inside, it might be cloudy or clear skies. And so oftentimes either us or our students have difficulty accessing emotional vocabulary. And so using the weather to help us do that can be really beneficial. And then loving kindness is an incredibly powerful practice, which Michelle will guide us through right now.
All right, everyone. So get comfortable. And just take a moment to drop into your breath. We've been doing a lot of that today, so it might be very accessible to you to feel how you are right now. And just coming into awareness of your heart. You might put your hands on your heart, if that feels good to do, to help you connect. And continue to breathe in and out. And as you feel into your heart, I invite you to call to mind a person with whom you have uncomplicated feelings of appreciation, maybe love. Let it be uncomplicated. So this could be a pet if you orient more, that's more simple for some of us. For others, we have a person that we can call to mind that works very easily. Make it easy for yourself. Who is that person that you just know, or that pet that you feel your heart? And then once you have that person or animal, you can incorporate these words as your own words. You might speak them aloud or just say them to yourself silently. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you live in peace. And just staying with that feeling of love and appreciation for that person. Saying these words and feeling this prayer for yourself. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I live in peace. Breathing in and out and feeling the effect of that, and drinking in those wishes for yourself. I invite you to bring to mind someone for whom you have a challenge, and not the most challenging person in your life, but someone that maybe you wish you had spoken differently to, or that they had spoken differently to you. And offer this person these words. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you live in peace. And now making an offering to your community. You might visualize the community you serve, your people. May we be safe. May we be happy. May we be healthy. And may we live in peace. Breathing in and out, feeling your heart, feeling this prayer or wish for all of us. And when you feel ready, you can just gently bring yourself back to awareness of the space that we're in here, the screen, our digital space. And if you feel called, I'd love to hear from you as to how that was. You feel more relaxed? Yeah. There are a lot of different ways to do a loving kindness meditation. And the words that you say can change. You could pick other words. You're tired. Yeah, it's been a week, right? More relaxed. Good.
Thank you. That practice can be so powerful to use when, we need to cultivate compassion with ourselves or others. And so And especially when, suffering is happening either in our own lives or around us, this is a hugely beneficial tool, compassion, loving kindness to practice. So I hope that you can draw on any of the affirmations that you want, like, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be loved, may you be worthy, may you be whatever it is that you want. And you can also change the affirmations that you integrate into the practice at any given moment, depending on what's needed in your life or in your classroom or in the space that you're in at any point in time. So thank you so much for just engaging in these practices with us, and for joining us, and for trusting us to support you throughout this process. And for those of you who are teaching, which I believe is almost every single one of you in one way, shape, or form, because you're here, thank you for doing the incredible work that you are doing. You deserve more appreciation than Michelle and I could ever say in not just an hour, but in like our whole lifetime. And I feel so grateful and blessed to be in your presence, and to know that you're taking care of our kids and our communities, and in a time that the world desperately needs you. And at the same time, I'm like, and hopefully you can take care of yourselves in the process. And that's really why Breathe for Change exists, is not only to support you in bringing these practices into the classroom, but first and foremost, to support you in enhancing your well-being, so that you can do the critically important work that you're here to do for our kids and for our communities. So as I mentioned, or as we mentioned, everything that we taught you was just a taste of what we do in our 200-hour wellness SEL and yoga teacher training that's specifically for educators and community leaders. So if any of you would like to stick around for a few moments, Michelle and I will share a little bit more about our training. I know some of you direct messaged me and wanted to know more, so happy to just share about what we do and how you can get involved if you're interested. So I love the love and appreciation in the chat. We appreciate you too. So I'll just take a few moments to walk you through our 200-hour training and how you can join our movement if you're interested. Today was just a tiny taste of what we have to offer. And Michelle and I both co-lead the 200-hour trainings. It is, as Michelle would say, the work of our heart. So just to name what our training outcomes are for the 200-hour. So similar to how we framed today, our number one intention for this training is for you to enhance your own physical, mental, and social, emotional well-being through cultivating a personal and sustainable, because you matter and your well-being matters. And Michelle.
Oh my gosh. You will be able to teach inclusive and accessible yoga classes and meditation practices for both adults and young people in person as well as digitally.
And then our third goal is that you also graduate with the tools to effectively facilitate social emotional learning and wellness experiences for adults and students in your school, district, or organization. And what this means is you'll be equipped not only to integrate a bunch of amazing SEL practices into your instruction, but also be able to teach professional development, really be a leader of this, lead wellness workshops, be a leader of SEL and wellness in your community. And then last but not least, Michelle.
Oh, my favorite. You get to join an amazing community of passionate educators and leaders who are committed to using wellness as a vehicle for healing and social change.
Oh, the community is the best part. I mean, people literally make friends that last a lifetime. You'll be connected to not just the people in your own cohort, but the thousands of graduates that are, in your local area too. It's really remarkable what happens in our trainings. So what are we learning? So there's 6 content areas in our training, and this training is designed by educators for educators. So pedagogically, we care so deeply about how you actually learn all these things. So our training consists of our Breathe for Change workshops, which is grounded in our transformational curricular progression that guides our entire training, from transformation of self to transformation of relationships to transformation of community. Then we have SELF. So as I mentioned, we tag on the F to SEL because we believe it's critically important for us to embody the practices that we're teaching. So here we teach you our SELF curriculum grounded in our 8 SEL components. So you learn settle in practices, breath awareness practices, mindful movement practices, community connection, focus, creative expression, relaxation, and closing strategies. And then you also learn how to weave all of those components together to design and facilitate wellness workshops and professional development. And then asana is the physical practice of yoga. So you learn how to break down all the poses, how to sequence them together, and ultimately how to design and teach inclusive and trauma-informed yoga classes. And if you're new to yoga, we get a lot of you, no worries. Our whole thing is that we teach through our teach method, which is trauma-informed, equitable, accessible, community-based, and healing-centered. And everything we do is going to equip you not only to develop your own personal practice, but to bring it to your classroom and your communities. And then meditation will guide you through meditations and teach you how to guide others through meditations. Philosophy is where we talk about the history of yoga, the ethical principles of yoga, and how these ethical principles connect to who we are as teachers and leaders. And then anatomy is the where we learn about our physical bodies and how it connects to the yoga practice, and ultimately how do we build a healthier relationship with our body. And as I mentioned, we have this transformational curricular progression, which begins with a focus on transformation of self, which is all about us cultivating our own well-being. And then from that foundation of our own well-being, we move into transformation of relationships, which is like, how do we enhance well-being in all the relationships that matter to us, whether it's our loved ones, our students, our families, our colleagues, you name it. And then from that foundation of well-being within ourselves and our relationships, then we move into transformation of community, which is why so many educators and leaders come to Breathe for Change in the first place. This is where we explore how do we utilize wellness, SEL, and yoga as vehicles for healing and social change across all of our communities. And then we end with integration and renewal to integrate our amazing transformations and then prepare ourselves to step into our leadership. And so everything we do aims to support us in using wellness, SEL, and yoga as vehicles for healing and social change. And through our training, you get not one, but 2 certifications. So you get your 200-hour yoga teacher certification. So this is the internationally recognized like gold standard yoga teacher certification that yoga teachers and studios have. And this will allow you to register through the Yoga Alliance at the 200-hour level, which is ultimately like the umbrella organization that certifies yoga teachers in schools around the world. You also get your Breathe for Change social emotional learning facilitator certification, which qualifies you to be a leader of SEL, mindfulness, and wellness in your community. So again, you'll learn all the practices, how to facilitate workshops, programs, and PD for the people that you serve. And then if you want grad credits or CEUs, if you want to finish your master's early or you need PD credits, we partner with universities so you can also get those. And you don't need to do anything else, coursework wise, other than just completing your 200-hour to get access to these credits. And then our trainings are a combination of literally the most interactive, engaging, inspiring live sessions you've probably ever experienced in your life on Zoom, where we engage in courageous conversations, build really close relationships, practice, teach what we're learning, you name it, we do it. And then also on-demand content. And the on-demand content you complete between the live sessions, so that when we come to the live sessions together, we go deeper on the content. And the on-demand content you can do self-paced in whatever way works for you between sessions. And so we have multiple cohorts coming up, so you can choose the one that's best for your schedule. We have 2 summer cohorts. This is more of our quote intensive model, meaning the live sessions are about every week, except for the 4th of July week. For one of the trainings, we don't have it because it's a holiday. So you'll notice the live sessions for the first cohort are Monday, Tuesday. Those are 9 to 3 Pacific time, 12 to 6 Eastern. We obviously do self-care breaks. You got a 30-minute self-care break in the middle of the day. You can think about it as the wellness retreat for you. It will be don't worry about Zoom fatigue at all. So the first cohort's Monday, Tuesday, the second one is Wednesday, Thursday, and that's just when the live sessions are. And then you complete the on-demand content, around 15 hours between, which includes like your personal practice and, watching videos and doing integration activities and what have you. And then if you can't do one of the summer cohorts, you can do the October one. During the school year, we have a monthly model for the live sessions, given that you have most of you have full-time jobs during that portion of the year. So it's the same content and curriculum. It's just the live sessions are once a month. So you have a month instead of a week to complete the on-demand content on top of your, you working in your communities. So those are the trainings that we have available. And one of our missions at Breathe for Change is to make these trainings as affordable and accessible as humanly possible, so that every educator and leader who wants to take our training can. And so typically a yoga teacher training is like $4,000 or $5,000, and we've done everything we can to make it, again, as accessible as possible. So typically our training is $29.95. But currently, in honor of all of you and Teacher Appreciation Week, we are giving out an $1,100 tuition discount to any of you who apply and go through our process this week. And so if you click on the link that I sent into the chat, that is basically what happens is it'll take you to our 200-hour page, which actually I can walk you through in a moment, just so you see. So the 200-hour page looks like this. That's the link I sent in the chat. All you need to apply and to get the $1,100 teacher appreciation discount, you just fill this out. It's a short form with your information, and then you press submit. The application is not complete until you do the second step, which after you press submit, there'll be a calendar that pops up for you to schedule a call with one of our educator development advisors. Now, the thousands of people who have taken our training, we've talked to every single one of them. We want to know who you are. We want to know what your vision is for yourself. We want to know why you care about this and how we can best support you throughout your journey. And if it feels like a good fit on the call, once you've talked to our team, then we can give you everything that you need to sign up, register, and get into our training. And with our training, you get access to our community, Breathe for Change community membership, which you don't only get access to the live training, the weekends or the Monday, Tuesday sessions that are specific to your training, but you also get access to a bunch of yoga classes and meditations and PDs and, community conversations on our Breathe for Change platform, so that you can continue to deepen your learning and stay connected to all of the resources that we have to offer you, and also like the classes that we have to support your well-being throughout training. So if you register now with the teacher appreciation, by the teacher appreciation application, which is up right now, and at least fill out the application to schedule your call, then you'll definitely get the discount. And if you sign up, then even if your training is until summer, your training is until October, you will get immediate access to the other resources within our community. So you could start your yoga practice and join some live meditations and get access to some other content that will prepare you for training. So Michelle, what did I miss? Tell me, or add your magic.
I was just loving, I was going through the couple screens here and seeing some of our current graduates, and I was just curious, friends, pop in the chat how you're feeling about Breathe for Change and the training. I think your words are so much more powerful than mine at times. It's so good to hear from others who are in the training. I think you hit it all, Ilana, aside from that.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, Michelle and I lead these trainings with our amazing colleague, Bree, who has been an educator, an administrator, a special ed coordinator, and is a social justice activist and all the things. And the three of us in our many other members, diverse members of our training team hold space for you. You also become a part of a community group. So we intentionally curate experiences for you so that you can build these intimate relationships with like-minded educators and leaders. So if you're like a school principal, like an elementary school principal, you'll be in a community group with other elementary school principals. If you're an early childhood educator, you'll be with your ECE folks. If you're a high school science teacher, you'll be with your people. We also create these community groups, which are like groups of 9 or 10 of you, based on time zone and based on location. So you'll also be with educators who are near you, in addition to in addition to them having similar professional backgrounds and interests as you. And so that's one of everyone's favorite part, is like you end up building relationships that extends so far beyond the training. And then we also will pair you with a mentor. So every community group gets a mentor who's one of our rock star graduates, who's graduated from our 200-hour, who's doing remarkable work in their communities. And then they support you and your community group and taking your visions to the next level, and really supporting you throughout your journey. So those are other things that are amazing. And if you, as I mentioned, we want to make this as affordable and accessible as possible. And so what a lot of people do, I forgot to mention. So one of the ways we do this is you do not have to pay in full. Some people can afford that. Most people can't. So we have interest-free payment plans of $250 a month. So the only thing that you need to sign up and register is to put down your $250 deposit, which secures your spot in the training. It just basically means your first $250 payment towards your tuition for the $18.95, which would be what it would be if you get this teacher appreciation discount. And we also I would be thrilled if every single one of you got that deposit refunded because you sought out someone else paid for your training. So we also, what most people do is they'll register to get into a training with a $250 deposit, and then at the same time seek outside sources of funding. And we are getting more and more schools and districts covering this. Our numbers are, like, it used to be mostly educators would do it for themselves, but now more and more people are getting on board to support the funding piece of this for all of you. So we have 2 resources for you that I've put into the chat, which is, do any of you know about Donors Choose? So Donors Choose, if you're working in education, is like a platform that you can use to create a project that your community can fund. And the project is to support your role as an educator, essentially, or to support you in bringing something to your classroom or your school community. And so we've had thousands of educators get partially or fully funded through Donors Choose. You create a little project, you say, I'm going to do Brief for Change. This is how I want to impact my community. And then you put it out there, and then the community funds it. There's also bigger donors that go in and match on there. So anything that gets funded, they'll match it, stuff like that. So you don't need to start from scratch. We've had so many grads do this effectively. So we've curated different examples and templates for you to just start it. So a lot of people, apply today, schedule their call with our educator development advisor, talk to them, register so that you can get access to all of our resources and community immediately. And then, also simultaneously are doing your Donors Choose. And then you can email support@breatheforchange.com, hey, I got funded, woohoo. So that happens all the time, is retroactively you get funded. You'll start seeking out funding now, but you're still signed up. And then we will just refund anything that you've personally put down that someone else covers for you. The other thing is that we, as I mentioned, schools and districts we're seeing more and more cover some or all of the costs of the tuition on your behalf. And so we created a funding justification letter that you can share with your admin or whoever might have access to PD funds or whatever kinds of grants, whatever's relevant. And so you can send the funding justification letter, which is grounded in research and castle competencies, and like, talks about the benefits of these practices and how it can impact, educators and students in your community. So you can also use our resources to seek out funding as, you embark on this journey. So hopefully these are all resources that are helpful to you. Again, most people end up just being like, I'm going to do this anyways for myself, no matter what. I'm going to simultaneously seek out funding, because why wouldn't we want to get other people to cover it? And you should, if we can. But the one thing I will say is this is definitely a financial investment in you long-term. I mean, our graduates are, getting paid to teach professional development. They're getting promotions to like SEL coordinator, or leader of mindfulness in their district, or teaching in yoga studios to the side, leading retreats or wellness workshops. There's so many different opportunities that will unfold for you that will definitely pay itself back very, very quickly, and then for years and years and years to come. That's why we're trying to make it as accessible through our interest-free payment plans and these other resources, so that like you can do it in a way that works for you, but then ultimately benefit long-term financially from it. So, oh yay, Mandy was able to get funding from public district, and yes, I think it's easier than ever. They are in agreement with the need. Amazing, so cool. Thanks for sharing that, Mandy. Wait, Mandy, come off mute. Tell us what you did.
Hi. So yes,
Hi.
I was just so excited that I talked to my principal about this program, telling her that I saw it on social media, and how at first I was just interested personally for my personal gain, never thinking that she would be just as interested, but she was. And then I work at a Catholic school, so we were a little bit worried about how we were going to get the funding. But when she went through our public district, they were so, on board and saying, well, we'll fund it, and then she can come here and teach our teachers. And so
love it.
It worked out really well. So I would highly recommend at least starting the conversation, because you never know.
Totally. Thank you so much. So awesome. So does anyone else have any questions? Who's planning on doing it, or has anyone applied? I want to know.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay.
Thank you for the letter. I think that's going to be helpful. This year we started doing more meditation exercises, and like I don't know, using yoga techniques and mindfulness, and it's been a hard year, but it also been very successful because we were all able to come together as a community. They are still here. They don't want to leave me. So
sweet. Where are you?
I'm in Richmond, California.
Oh, cool. You're right across the bridge from me. So awesome.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try the district first. I'm about to email admin, and then we'll see. Perfect.
And the other thing that I would recommend that you all do, if you're interested in, you're like simultaneously seeking funding and interested in doing it, is I would still apply today, like fill out that form, schedule your call, because then you're going to get the discount. If you wait to like hear from them, then you won't get do you see what I'm saying? So I would just apply and schedule your call. You can simultaneously be seeking out funding, but then at least you're in our system for like when this Teacher Appreciation Week discount is. And then our educator development advisors will work with you and support you in getting the funding from your school. So yeah, it would probably take like 2 or 3 minutes to fill out that quick form, which I can put in the chat again. So awesome. I'm so excited. Oh, yay, Lisa, you got your call on Monday. Woo, woo. Who's your call with?
I knew you were going to ask me that.
Kelly, Bree, Chris.
No, Norgard. Last name
Kelly.
Norgard?
Kelly.
Kelly. Yeah,
You're gonna love that. You're gonna love her so much.
fantastic. I can't wait.
Awesome. So cool. I'll let her know that we met you today.
Yeah, right on.
Great. Monica, yay, you signed up last month. So cool. See you this summer. And we also do a bunch of free resources. So we do weekly yoga classes on Mondays and these SEL and wellness webinars that you can absolutely attend and also share with every educator, community leader that you know, because these are, and if you're getting any resistance, which hopefully won't happen as you're talking about this, invite them to these webinars and let them experience the benefits for themselves. A lot of our teachers have found that it's like they're nervous to explain it for themselves, and so they just bring people to us so that we can do it for you, and that's really helpful in setting you up for success. So Colette, there are so many cohorts that have come from Massachusetts. That's one of our biggest areas. We've done Boston trainings, Central Mass. We have a bunch of people from Massachusetts that are in our trainings. And so there's a huge network of trainers and teachers in Massachusetts. That's a private message. Oh, cool. Rhonda, so awesome. Yay.
Yeah, that's wonderful feedback. Thanks, Rhonda. I'm so excited to hear that and happy for you.
Love it. Love it. All right. Well, thank you all so much. Hopefully we will see you all very soon. Yoga class on Monday, another wellness and SEL webinar next Wednesday. Hopefully we'll see you in the training. And for those of you who sign up for our training in the near future, you'll be a part of so many awesome conversations and events with us. So looking forward to it. And thank you so much. Happy Teacher Appreciation Week. You are the best. Please remember that and take care of yourselves. And just, I hope that these mindfulness practices today you can use, in any way, shape, and form moving forward in a way that supports you. So thank you, and we'll see you soon.